Hi, welcome to the Go Gardening Show. We're here at Alamo Heights United Methodist Church with Twyla Benson, and we're going to talk about their community gardening. But tell us a bit of brief history about the garden, how it all got started.
Originally, probably 20 years ago, it was a Girl Scout Silver Award project, and there were 3 beds. Since then, it had gone into disrepair, and I happened to see it a couple of years ago, and I asked the chef at the church if he knew anything about it. He said he planted a tomato and a pepper, but he wasn't a gardener. I said, well, I'm a gardener, but I know how to cook. And so we kind of started it from there and laid it out and started over, and everything's brand new. Lots of assistance from the youth and the help from the church, and lots of donations from different people to start this, and that's been 2 years ago.
So that was 2 years ago, so there's a lot of volunteer effort involved on that.
A lot of volunteer effort
Well,
involved.
it looks really outstanding. Let's go look at it.
Okay.
Shall we? So, Twyla, just tell me a little bit about how this garden is laid out, and then also some of these wonderful plants in front of me.
Okay. It's laid out in the shape of an equilateral cross. So we have 4 foot by 10 foot beds. And then in the triangles in between, we have herbs and perennials and some flowers. And then we have the pavers that mark the outside of the bed that were done by different people in the church, and different kids put them together.
Okay, we're going to talk about those pavers in a little bit, but let's talk about these plants here.
Okay.
So you said herbs are in the triangle.
In the triangles. The herbs are not on drip irrigation.
They are
or not
Oh,
on drip
okay.
irrigation. Only the raised beds are on drip. And the drip is a separate station on the irrigation system from the church. And so we set that up. We have winter herbs and summer herbs, and the dill is still going, so we leave it.
And we
have basil, and then the perennials, we have oregano. The Swiss chard, we moved it out of a bed because it wouldn't quit, it wouldn't die. So we have Swiss chard in there, and this one has a dead rosemary.
Definitely a winter vegetable. It won't
And
die.
yeah.
All right.
So
Okay, now what do we have in this bed
in the
right
beds, we do annual vegetables. And this particular bed has cucumbers, squash, cantaloupe in it. And the volunteer sweet potatoes at the far end, that's the smaller bushy leaves,
So
they were in this
volunteer?
bed because this is one of the original beds from the Girl Scouts. We thought we got it cleaned out, dug out, put new soil in, and the sweet potatoes keep coming back. So we do harvest them, and then they come back again. So we've just let them continue.
So that's great. So that just gives a little idea about how, what you're planting this time of year.
Right. So we're into summer, and we've just finished planting the summer areas.
Okay.
Same herbs. We've got some bronze fennel over here, which is still going. I have a chili patine over there. The sunflowers are volunteers from 2 years ago.
And still going.
And
We're
still
in June,
coming back.
Still going.
We have green beans, we have pole beans, and bush beans. In the far end, the okra is just coming up.
All right. Well, Twyla, one of the things I like about this particular bed here, it's a raised bed. It has crops appropriate to the time period. These are peppers, all different kinds of peppers. And it has a wonderful drip irrigation system in it. And so, who put the drip irrigation system in? Who was it?
Actually, my husband and I put it in with some design help from a couple of different people. We have a faucet bib over on the lowest point, which is tied to the irrigation system of the church. And so it runs on drip. Only the raised beds are on drip. The herb beds are
all
not.
done by hand.
They're all done by hand whenever we need it. They're mainly perennials, so they don't need as much water.
So is this a manual system? You turn it on when the drip is? It's not on a box or anything?
It has its own station on the
Okay.
on the
All right.
system, and it comes on twice a week when the landscaping around the church comes on.
Right.
The faucet handle is set for just barely on and is left that way. Yes, it works very
so
well.
That's just it. Everybody can do this at home.
Anybody can do this at
And
home.
Anybody, if you could do it,
Anybody can
there
do
you
it.
go. All right.
Yeah, and I have a splitter under the beams.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one pipe that comes up from the green box, and a splitter that then splits to the 4 beds.
Okay. Well, let's look at
So
some
I
of
can
these
turn
other
one off
plants
if
over
I
here.
need to.
Yeah. So, Twyla, tell me a little bit about the mulch. I noticed we have 2 different mulches. Do you have a problem with weeds and grass?
Of course, because we dug the grass out to make the garden, and the weeds keep taking over. So we're always weeding, and we put cardboard down underneath, and then the mulch, and we have to replenish the mulch about once a year and take the weeds out again. And we used the hay from one of our volunteers who was able to get 3 bales of hay at Thanksgiving and Halloween, where we had some decorations in the center. And when we were finished with the bales of hay, rather than discard them, it was better just to use the hay around the herb beds as additional mulch instead of having to go buy mulch.
So that's really, so I'm not worried about walking in here. These are all pathways here that I can walk back and forth.
Yes, now we put the little flags
Uh-huh.
to designate where there's supposed to be flower seeds, but they've
Okay.
never come up. And I do have a 2-foot pathway around every bed, as well as out here, so that you have walkways that you can go in, and we can work in and around the beds and not get mud on us, and be able to have access to all the beds evenly.
I have to ask you this, because I hear a lot of my friends complaining about their knees and everything and their hips. This looks like the perfect garden accessory. Do you know what the history on this is?
There's 2 or 3 of them. I don't.
2 or 3 of our lovely volunteers.
She got hers on Amazon. Mine was a gift from my older son. And Linda's had hers she got hers from a local hardware store. And they're wonderful because they're a nice height. Mine came with this little tool bag also, and you flip it upside down and you kneel on it, where it's nice as padded, and the legs become arms, so you can get up and down very easily. And this is a wonderful garden tool for every gardener.
So I wanted to tell all our gardening friends out there that, pads or getting on Amazon to get these is a wonderful way to get in the garden and stay in the garden. I wanted to thank Twyla Benson and all the wonderful volunteers here at Alamo Heights United Methodist Church. I want to thank them for their wonderful projects and all the bounty that they have. Thanks for watching Go Gardening, and let's get out there and garden. Come on, look at all this stuff. And save some water.
Ever wonder where all of the water we use to drink, bathe, cook, garden, and put out fires comes from? Ever wonder how our water supply is safeguarded to ensure it's there for generations to come? The answers to all your questions will be waiting for you at the Edwards Aquifer Authority Education Outreach Center. Book your free visit today at eaaeoc.org. The EOC is the place to be.
Welcome to Go Gardening. We're here at this hidden jewel in all of San Antonio called the Japanese Tea Gardens. And I'm here with Mary Jane Verette, who is what?
President and CEO
All right.
of San Antonio Parks Foundation.
Of the Parks Foundation. But this is not exclusively San Antonio Parks and Rec. This is...
Yeah, this is actually a city park.
Uh-huh.
So the Japanese Tea Garden is one of our city parks,
Okay.
and the Parks Foundation, which is a nonprofit in San Antonio, we have the management agreement to manage this particular
To
garden.
manage this park and everything it includes. And what does it include? It includes the planted area, the gardens, and
Oh yeah,
and-
of course with our partners, the City of San Antonio really maintains these gardens, and we work hand in hand with each other in a collaborative way. And then it remains a free public park until 5 o'clock
There
every
you go.
day from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay.
And then in the evening, when the park is closed, it can be used as a venue rental opportunity.
That's another thing I want to talk to you about. We have some restaurants here?
Yes.
Okay.
We have the historic Jingu House
Uh-huh.
Cafe.
Okay. And when is that open?
The Jingu House is open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay. Wonderful.
It's operated by the Lawton family of restaurants. it's
Yes,
your son.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Another local entity we always love.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to go around and look at some of the different areas on that. Would you like to come with me?
Sure.
Let's go. Well, Mary Jane, tell me a little bit about the history of the Japanese Tea Garden. How far back does it go?
It goes back to 1917 when Parks Commissioner Ray Lambert had a vision to make this into an Asian style garden.
Oh.
And this is the remains of the Alamo cement rock quarry. And so back in, the world was a different place in 1917, and but the commissioner's vision was to take the stones from the rock quarry, which, this same quarry is what built the Minger Hotel and built so many spaces in San Antonio. Very historic. And so Parks Commissioner Ray Lambert came out here, and they envisioned what they believed to be a Japanese style garden. And that type of during the time, Japanese style was very popular in the early 20th century, early 19th century. And so Ray decided to incorporate, there was no money. I think they spent something like $17,000 to build this entire place originally. It was built with prison labor. So it has quite a rich history. Prison labor came out here, and they were used to put the stones together, to build the pagoda, to build these beautiful walkways, to provide a place that is a place of respite in a time that was a different world than we live in now. And in 1919, the garden opened. The community brought their own bulbs and plants from various.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was entirely a community project, and so it was came out here, bought different bulbs, brought all these, and worked in this garden. It was a labor of love for so many people, and then Ray Lambert met an artist, a Japanese artist named there was Izo Jingu, and he married Miyoshi.
Okay.
And they moved here in 1919.
They moved here from?
They were in San Antonio, but they were invited to live in a little house.
Oh, yeah.
And in 1926, the Jingu House Cafe opened up.
Yes.
And so they served tea and sandwiches here in the garden. Very civilized age, I guess.
Very, very civilized.
And so they raised 8 children in this house. So this was their home. This is where they played.
Played everywhere, up and down, all across all the pathways and everything. Somebody asked me about all of these columns here. And is this all the original stones?
Yes, these are the original
Wow.
stones.
Okay. All right.
If you look up here on these timbers, you'll see CPS, and these were timbers left over from electrical infrastructure being built within the city.
Okay. Well, I never knew that. I thought it was much later that the stones were all working.
Oh no, this is the original work.
Okay.
Now this flagstone down here, we built with bond money, put the flagstone in, but I think it was such a beautiful job the way it was done. It just looks natural to the whole piece.
It does. I would never guess that it was a little later date. Well, okay. Well, let's look at some of the plants.
Sure, happy to.
Okay, great.
Great.
So, Mary Jane, these are great plants, but who actually picks out the plants and who actually plants them or makes the plans for the plants?
There's a very talented team at Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
And so Mark Lawson oversees the plantings that go into the Japanese tea garden. If you, like every garden, this one evolves and changes
Exactly.
and changes with the times. So you will see a lot more of the native plants here now than you might have in the past. You'll see a lot of pollinators. We have a great pollinator garden that's covered with butterflies most of the year. And those kinds of things really enhance our ability to be stewards of a very sacred place.
So just another reason why to come to this special
Oh,
place.
yeah.
Just to see some of the new plants that are going on.
To see the life, it constantly changes throughout the year. And so there are some significant trees. We have a ginkgo tree right in the front that was planted in honor of Cappy Lawton when he came into the garden. And then there's also a beautiful Eve's Tears at the entrance to the garden. And it was planted on the same day as the tsunami in Japan. So it's significant in that it happened to be on that same day. So we think of the tsunami when we look at it.
Well, one of the unique features of the Japanese tea garden is the water. And so we have koi in that. Where did the koi come from?
The koi we bring in, we purchase them actually. So they're beautiful koi that are brought in. We frequently do releases in honor of people that have made a significant contribution to San Antonio. The ponds themselves have over 100,000 gallons of water in them, and it's fresh water. It is not recycled necessarily, but it is fresh water that comes in, and we have resealed these ponds twice now since 2007.
Yeah, I know that was an issue long
Yeah,
ago.
leaks.
So
Yeah.
lots of leaks. So we resealed it and we put the water in. So it's basically just adding a little bit more water.
Oh yeah, we want to be
for evaporation purposes.
and we want to be responsible. We want to practice good conservation. So you'll notice the floating islands out there. They were developed for this garden in order to help conserve water and to provide visual interest throughout.
Okay.
You'll also notice that the waterfall that we have is in its own pond, basically, and it's a recycled.
Is it? Okay,
it's
that's another question.
recirculating in the waterfall, so we can keep it on year round.
That's another question a lot of people ask me. Because they knew I worked for Saws for a long time, and I said no, we're conserving it, but I didn't know exactly.
Yeah, we truly do. I mean, not only do we use the plants that conserve water, but we make a sincere effort to practice good conservation and to share that with the community.
Well, how often do they upgrade? Now, you said you made some upgrades, but how often do they go in and make a lot of changes to the plants? Do they have it?
It's seasonal,
Okay.
and so
Oh, it
of
is
course
seasonal, okay.
but we don't pull everything out and replace it. Mark is very mindful to do work that is, we have perennials as well as annuals. People love that pop of color in a garden.
Yeah, they want that, yeah.
So a true Asian garden would not have so much color, but we feel like this is very much a fusion of, this is San Antonio.
This is exactly. We have to have our color. We have Pride of Barbados, we have Esperanza all the way around. We have some roses. Yes, this is truly San Antonio. Another reason why to visit here, and it is a unique jewel.
There's always going to be something different when you come in. So there's constant change. These beautiful cannas that you see right here, I love their little color that have come in this year, but yet you'll see around the waterfall, you'll see some great pollinator plants that are also very mindful to not use a lot of water and to be an example to the rest of the community.
Excellent. I totally agree. I totally agree. Shall we see something else?
Sure.
There we go. Okay. This is a lovely example, just another shot of what we have here. But you know, I love walking on this back trail because I see a lot of native plants. And I'm the forester, I'm the plant guy. I like to see these native plants that are growing just outside the wall. And this is natural. They're coming out of the wall here. And so it's just a lovely symmetry and interchange with both the native plants we have here and then the color and all the plants that we put in here. And it really truly is a real jewel that every San Antonian needs
They
to
should.
visit.
Yes, especially every San Antonian has been to the Japanese tea garden. Every school child has been to the tea garden in their lifetime. But you'd be surprised how many times I'm up here and somebody says, I haven't been here in 30 years. I never knew this was so gorgeous. And
Well,
yet it is free and it belongs to all the
It's-
people.
It's free. And again, those times are?
The garden itself
Yeah.
is open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every
Okay.
day. It's free and open to the public.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And I hope everybody will come here to the Japanese.
Oh
tea
yeah,
garden.
come enjoy a nice meal at the restaurant, which is also a very much of a fusion product. It's Tex Asian, and so you get to come up here and feel like you're really Photo San Antonio. You know, when you have a steamed bun that's got a pork pulled pork in a mole sauce. So that is
Well,
the
there you go.
essence of San Antonio.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
Sure, happy to be out here.
Isn't that a wonderful sound? That's the waterfall here at the Japanese Tea Garden. Ooh, I got a little wet. But I want to thank Mary Jane Verette. She's president and CEO of the San Antonio Parks Foundation.
We're a small nonprofit.
And we support all parks.
Right.
All right.
The Parks Foundation reaches in all throughout City of San Antonio. We manage this lovely garden, though, for the city.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming out and helping us explain all the Japanese tea gardens.
The more you come, the more you'll learn.
And I want to thank you all for watching Go Gardening videos. Now, let's get out there and do some gardening, but save some water.
So, how does enjoying the many beautiful parks and natural areas located in the Trinity Glen Rose Groundwater Conservation District help protect the clean water stored in the Trinity Aquifer? You can learn more at trinityglenrose.com/pollution prevention.
Litter goes with the flow. Join the San Antonio River Authority in protecting area creeks and the river. Don't let litter trash your river. Let's all be river proud.